Good morning to one and all present here. Myself, Dr. Ramakrishna, heading Department of Computer Science and Engineering. So on behalf of Department of Computer Science Engineering and Information Science Engineering, a warm welcome to Vice President of SkillUp India, SkillUp Online, Mr. Shankar Ramurthy, sir. Sir, we welcome you, sir, for this session. Thank you, sir, being with for today's master classes of Foundation of AI classes. And also, on behalf of Department of Computer Science Engineering and Information Science Engineering, a warm welcome to uh, Ms. Lavanya TS, Senior Subject Expert Matter from SkillUp Online. Thank you, madam, for accepting our invitation to speak about the master classes of today's foundation classes on AI. Also, I would like to welcome Mr. Vishal, one who has coordinated very well about this activity for the benefit of the students of our campus. Sir, we are very thankful to you, sir, both IS and CS departments.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Last but not the least, I am welcoming all my heartful welcome to all my students for this wonderful event. I hope all the students will utilize this opportunity given by SkillUp Online. With these few words, I would like to hand over this today's session to the today's speaker, Ms. Lavanya TS. Madam, session is open to you, madam. Please, you can continue. Thank you, one and all. Students, in between, if at all you have any doubts, meanwhile, you can ask the doubts. It is not in one-way session. Please be interactive and see that it should be benefited. It's not that wasting of time. Switching on the mobile, just log in on the purpose and going somewhere. Kindly not to do it. Is not a kindly utilize that. They're not expecting anything from you. It is a matter of making you to benefit. So that you keep it in mind and do the things. Madam, thank you very much for being with us today's session. Session is open for you, madam. Thank you. Sir, Vishal, sir, thank you, sir. I will be in the session. I will continue, sir. I will be in the
Yes.
session only.
So
Yes.
thank you, sir. Thank you. And I would request our Vice President to open it up with his remark, and then we will go forward as we have
Yes.
discussed.
Sure, sure, sir. Sure, sir. Please.
Sir, please.
Super. Thank you so much, Dr. Ramakrishna, for helping us set up this session. Really appreciate this opportunity. And of course, a very big hello and a good morning to all of you students out there. Thank you for taking the time and joining this session. I'm very, very hopeful that you will walk away with a lot more information, a lot more insights into AI. Before we get started, I have a couple of small introductions to make, and I know we're starting probably 15 minutes late, so I'll keep it very short. I just want you to get a sense of who we are. So, SkillUp Online, really consists of two firms, SkillUp Technologies and SkillUp Online. We work with a wide variety of institutions and organizations, including IBM, Microsoft. We work with some of the IITs, IIMs, and the US universities also. SkillUp Online is our platform, and this platform is a recognized platform, recognized by NASSCOM. In fact, we are one of the biggest future skills partners. We've got over 160,000 students who are our enrollees, if I may. And there's a wide variety of content available with us in terms of future skills and technology skills. So what you'll see today is a small tasting session of what really can be learned as to dive into the details of AI. My second introduction is to Lavanya. Lavanya, who's going to be hosting the session and whom you're going to be hearing from for the next 1 hour or so, is one of the senior most subject matter experts, especially on AI and data science. She's an MBA in systems from Madras University, and she's got over 20 years of working in this space, where she started off in product development and project execution. She's very passionate about teaching these technologies, sharing her knowledge, while at the same time handling the IBM portfolio in our with that, we'll dive in. But before, I have one point to do. At the end of Lavanya's session, we planned a fun quiz, and 3 winners out of that fun quiz will take home Amazon vouchers as prizes. So my recommendation is please stay tuned, soak in what she does, and pay attention because you never know, you could be one of those winners. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Lavanya. Over to you, Lavanya.
Thank you so much, Shankar. A very good morning to you all, and welcome to this session on understanding AI with Alexa. Just some housekeeping rules. Be sure your audio is connected properly. The length of this webinar is approximately 1 hour. All the participants are requested to mute your lines unless you have a question. If at any point you have a question, you may type it into the chat box. We also have other subject matter experts in this call who can answer your questions, or we can deal with it at the end of the session. Without any further ado, let me get started. So the agenda, as Shankar said, is AI in everyday life, AI in industries, the job market for AI, and we'll understand AI with Alexa. We'll be doing a hands-on lab with face detection using Google Colab, and we'll end the session with a fun quiz using Kahoot. Okay. So we all are now surrounded by AI-enabled devices. I mean, AI is no more, a rarity, right? Everybody is surrounded by AI. If you look at it, all of us, I mean, even as of today, we use Spotify, Netflix, Amazon Prime, Hotstar, and all of these, they are able to recommend, based on your age, based on your location, based on your language preference, based on your usage history. So it uses the AI technology called the recommendation system. What about Google Maps? All of us use Google Maps. So this uses something called geospatial data and also data, real-time data from the devices. It could be your phones, it could be your Android Play in your car. It uses real-time data to analyze and tell you about alternative routes that you can take or road blockages and all that. iRobot, the robotic vacuum cleaner, can use computer vision and spatial data to ensure that it chooses the most optimal route to clean your house. What about Gmail and LinkedIn? They use something called predictive text. Like as you start typing, it already suggests, the next words that you should be saying or how you should be completing your sentence. So this uses predictive text and natural language understanding. Have you ever wondered how the text that possibly I could be guessing and what is suggested for you are a little different in the case of predictive text? Let's take a look at this short video, which will tell you exactly that.
By some estimates, the English language contains nearly 500,000 words. And yet, when we tap out text messages on our phones, the keyboard's predictions of what we'll type next are usually right. So, how does it know what we'll text next? This is Algorithmics, the space where we explore how invisible, computer-controlled, database sets of rules are making decisions for us every day. Over time, a predictive text system uses machine learning to figure out which words you tend to use. It creates a sort of personalized dictionary of these words, and it scores them based on the probability that you'll use them again. The higher the score, the more likely the word will be suggested to you as you type. Say you're often telling friends, "Thanks for coming over." If you type the letters THA, the keyboard will suggest thanks. Someone else might not use the word thanks all that much in text. So when they type THA, they might get a suggestion of the word that's. You can even add words that aren't in the regular dictionary, like an inside joke or a unique name, to your personal text dictionary. But advanced predictive keyboards can even go a step further. They use probabilistic language modeling to consider context, how certain words tend to go together in language.
So that's how predictive text works, and that's why, like I said, the predictive text could be different for me and for you. A question to the audience. I mean, what are some apps on your phone you think uses AI? You may type your answers on the chat window. Look at your phone. Look at any apps on your phone. Which ones do you think have AI? Anyone? Okay. A clue that I can give you is your phone camera, which I think almost all of us use every day. So the YouTube exactly, Face ID, perfect. Social media apps, yeah, most of the social media apps, even in fact, all of the ads that come up in your social media apps are all using artificial intelligence. Perfect. So all of these are in our personal space, right? In our everyday life, we are seeing AI in all of these. What about industries? Which industries use AI? Let's take a look at that. Healthcare. You know, in medical imaging, your CT scans, your MRI scans, your X-rays, which required an expertise to read. Now you can just feed them into an AI system and it can read and give you the results in a matter of few seconds. And this was extensively used during the COVID in diagnosis. Robotic surgeries are going to be the future of healthcare. You have patient management, disease management, and my most favorite, genomic sequencing. So back in the days, genomic sequencing by experts used to take anything from a month to 6 months. So just for them to do the genomic sequencing. But now with AI and cloud computing and all that, this whole thing is shortened to just 48 hours. And that is the very reason we could find a vaccine for COVID in such a short span of time. And not just one vaccine, every country has come up with 2 to 3 vaccines, right? So if you look at this small infographic here, the genomics market alone has increased from $202 million in 2020 to a projected growth of $1,671 million in 2025. That's just in 5 years. So you can think about how much AI has influenced genomics. And what about automotive? All of us have heard about Google cars, you know, the advanced driver assistance system. So you have adaptive cruise control, you have forward collision warning, lane departure warning. And here we're not talking about some futuristic car. This is, as we speak right now, even in India, XUV 700 has launched a car which has got lane assistance warning. So when you drift off the lane, it's going to warn you. So with all of this, you know, an automated car is perhaps a lot safer than a human intelligence driven auto rickshaw, even in a place like, you know, Bangalore, where the traffic is infamous. What about airline? If any of you have experience landing in any part of North India where the winter is fairly severe, or in any of the European countries, you have this problem. You have zero visibility during winter because of the fog, right? So this whole system is being tested in Heathrow at this point of time and would be a reality in no time, because air traffic control offers zero scope of error. So it has to be 100% precise. So they're trying it. They've been trying it for the last 2 years. So what happens is they use computer vision and very high definition cameras all over, historic data and current data, and present daylight vision. So whatever time of the day it is, whatever season it is, the screen that's presented has daytime vision. So the aircraft that's landing into the airport can land, you know, seamlessly. So this, like I said, is being tested, but will soon be reality. And airlines also uses AI for predictive maintenance of all of their aircrafts. So that's another big industry where AI is used. Retail industry. Have you ever wondered, you know, in the retail industry, we have this issue, you know, think about Amazon, think about the number of orders they get on a day-to-day basis, right? So with that number of orders, how is it so precisely they're picking up, packing, and sending it to the right address at the right time? How is that even possible? What's the size of their warehouse? How do the materials move about in their warehouse? Let's take a look at this video.
On the ranking of things to worry about, Skynet coming and taking over doesn't even rank in the top 10. It distracts attention from the more urgent things, like, for example, what's going to happen to jobs.
For a glimpse into the future, consider one of the largest companies on the planet, Amazon.
Amazon has tremendous scale. We have fulfillment centers that are as large as 1.25 million square feet. That's like 23 football fields. And in it, we'll have just millions of products.
To deal with that scale, Amazon has built an army of robots.
Like a marching army of ants that can constantly change its goals based on the situation at hand, right? So our robotics are very adaptive and reactive in order to extend human capability to allow for more efficiencies within our own buildings.
So how amazing is that? You know, just imagine 23 football fields put together and robots moving and, you know, packing your goods and sending them to the right addresses. So such is the use of AI in the retail industry. So there's no industry that's left out where AI is not touched or cannot be used. Every industry can benefit from AI immensely. Okay, we've seen AI in our everyday life. We've seen AI in industries, but at the end of the day, what is it in for you? As a job prospect, as a career prospect, what do you think you see in AI? Let's take a look at that. So here are some of the career prospects. You have an AI engineer who develops the AI models using machine learning. So if you look at all of these robots or computer vision and everything we're talking about, at the end of the day, they're all machines which have been learning, right? So this process of making the machine learning a particular thing is called modeling. So you as an AI engineer will be developing AI models with machine learning, which will be a part of any device. That is one option. Or you can become an AI consultant. So you can look at companies around. You can perhaps talk to, say, Swiggy or Zomato and say, you use this particular AI technology so your routes can be optimized. Or you can go to a car dealership and say, you use this particular chatbot or virtual assistant, which can enhance the showroom experience. So that's what an AI consultant does. Or you can be a solution specialist. So you can create the actual machines and you can talk to your your clients, understand their business problems, and create a solution for them, and architect the entire solution in terms of what kind of modeling you'll be using and all that. Or you could be an AI developer working under the solution specialist, solution architect, developing these AI functionalities into software applications. So there are immense opportunities available, and I'll just show you this is just a gist of all of the companies which are hiring at this point of time for AI. You have IBM, Accenture, Infosys, Wipro, Ernst & Young, American Express, all of the biggies, and this is just a gist, like I said, right? So why is there so many opportunities in AI? Why are we talking so much about AI? Let me just show you an infographics of staff crunch at this point of time. This is as of the 1st of February. There are over 4,000 positions related to AI in India that remain vacant. And this is despite the growth in the industry by 30%. This is because if you look at it, the average experience of an AI engineer is only 3 years. So you're not too late. You're just on time to jump into the bandwagon. And AI is where the future is. Relatively because it's influencing all of the industries, the job opportunities in the other industry might go down, while using the same industry with AI will go up. And that's why you'll have a lot of opportunities in the future. Okay, now we've seen about AI, the job prospects and everything. Let's now understand AI. I mean, we've all been end users of AI. Let's understand how AI works. I mean, all of us have either Google Home or Siri or Alexa, I presume. So let's understand AI with Alexa. What does it look like to us? We give a voice input. It goes to Alexa. Alexa speaks back through the speaker. It finds the answer and tells us. And then, the process goes on. That's what it looks like, right? So let me play this small video, audio for you.
Alexa, when is India's next cricket match?
India will play against West Indies on Wednesday, the 9th of February at 1 p.m. in an ODI at Narendra Modi Stadium in Ahmedabad.
So here you saw Shankar talking to Alexa. He was asking about the cricket, when is the next cricket match, and it was saying that it's happening today around 1 o'clock, right? So how does Alexa know this? So let's take a little deeper look at this whole thing.
Alexa.
So you have voice input. The voice input is not processed as is, right? I mean, Alexa at the end of the day is a device. It's not going to understand what you're talking. So what it does is it converts the speech into text. And this text, of course, it's going to have some key identifying fields. That goes to the cloud service, the Alexa cloud service. And that's going to return another text, which is converted into speech. And then that's spoken through your speaker. So this is actually a bigger idea of what's happening in the background. So as an engineer, this is something that you may be able to relate to a lot more, because, of course, we all know Alexa is, at the end of the day, a device. So you cannot talk and get a response back. So there is a little more happening, and this is what is happening, right? Voice input, speech to text, it goes to the cloud service, comes back as text. That text is converted into speech, and it's spoken through the speaker. But is Alexa so intelligent that it can understand anything that you talk to it? How is it able to handle? I mean, I ask about the weather, it's able to tell me. I ask about cricket, it's able to tell me. I ask about, say, restaurants in the area, it's able to tell you. You ask it to play some music for you, it's able to tell you. How is all of this possible with Alexa? So actually what happens in the background is just this. So you are talking to one of the Alexa enabled device. So all of these small devices that you see are Alexa enabled devices. So that input is sent to the Alexa service, the cloud service. And each of these, we said, like, the weather or the music or, restaurant information, all of these, each of these are present as a skill logic. So each of these cloud services, the virtual assistant cloud services are tied down to many such skill logics. In fact, that is one space where, you have infinite opportunities as an AI engineer. So each skill logic is mapped on to the cloud service. So based on what word I'm saying, so when I say, I want to know the weather, it goes to that particular skill. So this software is called a capability agent. The capability agent is a software which has got that particular skill. And that skill is what helps us to get an answer for any question that we ask. So if there is no skill mapped on, as you would have guessed, that's why when you ask some questions, Alexa says, sorry, I don't understand what you're saying. Because of all of the words you spoke, it converted it into text, but it could not find a skill that is mapping onto it. So it could not answer your question. So if you look at the actual architecture that's given on the Amazon Web Services page, this is how it is. This is you can go and refer to this architecture at any point of time on the AWS site. So here you see your audio signal processor, which is your mic, which is embedded in your Alexa device, be it your remote or your phone or the Alexa device itself. So there is a mic which is constantly listening. So there's a shared data stream. So as long as the mic is on, it's going to constantly keep listening to what is being fed, any background noise, anything. And then within that device, there is something called a wake word engine. So for Alexa, it's Hey Alexa. For Google, it's Hey Google. For Siri, it's Hey Siri, right? So there is an engine which is looking for these words. So the moment the keyword detection happens, the moment it says, here's Hey Alexa, it automatically sends it to the audio input processor. And it says, anything that follows now is going to be an instruction for you to take to Alexa Cloud. So this is taken to the Alexa communication library where the speech is converted into text. And then Alexa Cloud Service figures out what, the sequence in which the things should happen. So if it is weather, it says, okay, it breaks the whole sentence down. It says weather today. Or if you're asking for what's the weather in California, what will be the weather like on December 23rd. So you're giving three inputs here. You're asking for the weather, you're asking for the city of California, you're asking for a particular date in the future. So all of these three inputs. So it sees what all inputs have to be given and sends it here. And this directive sequencer library will send it to the capability agent depending upon what you're asking for. And that whole thing is sent to the focus manager library and sent back to media player. So what the focus manager library does is, say, for instance, you have set an alarm, okay? You have set an alarm with your Alexa saying, Alexa, can you go on at, say, 11:20, okay? And in the meantime, you're listening to music. You set the alarm perhaps sometime in the morning, but right now at 11:15, you're listening to music. So what will happen when the alarm has to go on? Should it be continuing to play the music or should it play the alarm? What do you think it should be doing? If one of you can answer. You get the scenario, right? You are using Alexa at this point of time, listening to music. You have set an alarm at 11:20. And now the time turns 11:20. Should the alarm go on or should the music just continue to play? The alarm after pausing the music, exactly. Perfect answer, Shashank Suresh. So what should happen is the alarm should go on, the music should pause, and when you snooze the alarm, the music should continue, right? So all of this is being taken care by the focus manager library, and that is how Alexa works in the background. I think all of you got it right. Yes, the alarm will go on. Perfect. So let's take a deeper look at this whole process. So this is how any AI application is created. So first the data is collected. So in the case of Alexa, the data is the words that we speak, right? So it's got a huge library of words, and those words are analyzed. So you know, I could be pronouncing it one way, you could be pronouncing it one way. All of this is analyzed and kind of assembled as same words. And then this data is being taught to the machine. So the machine learns these words and becomes artificially intelligent. And this AI model is then enabled in an application. So that becomes the AI enabled application, which is your Alexa device or your phone or your remote control. And every time you speak to the device, you're feeding in more and more of data, right? So that is why after like 2 or 3 months, Alexa can perfectly understand your accent and you can have a normal human like conversation with Alexa. And this is all enabled because there's a continuous learning. I'm often asked by students, you know, okay, we are here to learn AI, but in every AI course, there's something called statistics. Why are we even learning statistics? Because for us, I mean, we've all done statistics in school and perhaps in the college also. And the kind of statistics we've done is we have a data which looks like this. We do some mathematical operations, make some hypotheses, make some inferences from this, right? But when it comes to AI, like I said, data is very, very primitive. I mean, data is the fundamental unit of AI, right? Without data, there is no AI at all. But when I talk about data, I'm not talking about just this data. Like we saw in the previous example, it could be voice input. It could be images where, you know, based on the position of the bat, position of the player, position of his leg, it can exactly predict where the ball would go. Or it could just be videos, you know, your CCTV videos or your recorded videos. All of this constitute data. And when you analyze this and make inferences, it is data science. Okay. So we are going to look at a hands-on lab. So we're not going to do anything to do with Alexa and the hands-on lab, but something more interesting, something we all perhaps use in our everyday lives. You know, all of us use social media, I presume. So when you tag a picture, it can exactly tag the face. It can detect the face in a picture that you give, how many other faces it has, right? So how does this happen? So we're going to see that with a hands-on lab. Like I said, face detection. So what we'll look at is how to train the machine to look for a human face. Because, see, I mean, when you look at a picture, you have sensory organs. So you know, okay, in this picture, this is where the face is. But how does a computer know about it, right? You need something called neural network. So computer's got a program neural network which can figure this out. And to do this, you need to train the computer with about 1 million images before you can say, like, you know, this is how, you know, this is the picture. If this is the picture, you find out this is the human body, and in the human body, this is the face. So this kind of a training you do with the millions of images. And once you train, the system knows, okay, now I know how to figure out where the face is. That's typically how babies learn, right? I mean, when you know initially you're taught this is the eye, this is the ear, but now nobody tells you, you know it by yourself. So that's exactly how machines work as well. So the main mantra of AI is reusing the trained models, because if we have to now, just for you to do the lab, if I have to go and get 1 million images and train, it's going to take me about 1 whole day just to train the machine to recognize faces. We don't have that kind of a time, right? And you cannot be doing this over and over again. So what we do is we use pre-trained models. So that's the whole mantra of AI. So you have plenty of models which are all open source, which are available for you to use. And based on that, on top of that, you build whatever utility you want. So we are going to use a pre-trained model called the MTCNN. It's called multitasking cascading neural networks. Multitasking because it does more than one task, and cascading neural network because it does all of the recognition within the face. So it doesn't just recognize the face, it also can recognize where the eye is in the face, where's the position of the nose, the left corner of the mouth, the right corner of the mouth, and all of that is going to be done. So this is called the MTCNN, and NN for neural networks, which is our sensory organs. So what we'll first do is we'll install all of the libraries required. We'll import the packages needed for the lab. And then we'll get the images. So I have a few URLs that I'm using in the lab. So we'll get these images and we'll perform face detection on this. So like I said, we'll be reusing this MTCNN. So we'll create an instance of that and use that to detect the face. we'll be using Google Colab for this. So Google has been kind enough to provide some minimal requirements for anybody to learn AI. So it comes with minimal resources with which you can train, with which you can perform, such AI operations and all that. All of you will need to have a Gmail ID. I presume all of you have to use this lab, and I will be sharing interactive Python notebook. So for this particular lab, we'll be using Python. If you do not know Python, do not worry about it. Python, in fact, is one of the easiest languages. It's very close to English, so anybody can kind of understand. So all of the code is written, all of the explanation is written. So you'll be using an interactive Python notebook, which I will share in that attachment as on the chat. You'll need to have Google account. Like I said, you need to sign in with your Gmail ID into this. So once you sign into your Google Lab, you should be able to open this notebook. The face recognition IPy-NB. So you can just take a look at how I'm doing it, and then you can do it at your own leisure time and figure out how to do it. It's going to be fairly simple. I'll tell you how exactly you should be running it. Like I said, we're going to do a face detection system. Most of the libraries that you need are pre-installed here, but MTCNN is not a library. The multitasking cascading neural network is not a preloaded library, so you need to specifically install it. So pip install is basically Python install. This is what we use for installing Python libraries, the open source libraries. So you click on this play button here. It's going to install the library for you. And to do all of this, you need a good runtime environment which has got so much of resources. And that is why, like I said, Google Colab has provided this for you. So you can download these resources, install these commands and all that. And then we import all of the packages that we'll be using. You have computer vision, you have the MTCNN, and you have a few packages that we'll be using for images. You can look at the documentation for each of this if you want to learn more about it. But for now, just think of it as libraries, and that will be packages that we'll be using for getting and processing the images. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to get a newspaper page, the first page of a newspaper. So this is the link that I have. Let's see which newspaper it renders. So there I have the Boston Globe's newspaper with one face here, one picture here. So what I want to do is in this newspaper, I want to detect just this face. I don't want the rest of it. I just want to detect the face. So like I mentioned, we'll be using the MTCNN. So I've created an object of MTCNN. I'm calling it detector. This is like in any other programming languages that you're already familiar with, right? So you create variables and you assign values. So here I'm creating MTCNN object and assigning it to the variable called detector. So I'm going to use the detector to detect the face. Let's see what kind of results it gives. So these results are all again numbers, right? So the box it's giving out is the position of the face. And it's saying it is 99.99% confident that there is a human face in this particular page. And the key points like your left eye, right eye, mouth, nose, and all that is also detected. So that's why it is a multitasking cascading neural network. Okay, now let's, from this whole image, using these values, let's just extract only the face and see. So there, so that's also not a bad resolution at all. It's got a fairly high resolution. So using these digits here in the box, 456, 401, 108, 143, it's extracted the face. So some of the common applications, I mean, like now if you go to any of the malls, they use face detection to see if you're wearing a mask or not. Or if you have ID cards in universities or your place of work, if someone is misusing your iCard, they can find that. So let's take a small look at how you can extract the face from an iCard. So this is an identity card. Let's extract just the face and display it. So there. So from this iCard, it's extracted the face alone. And then what you will be doing as an AI engineer is you'll develop a software on top of it for it to compare the live face and the face on the iCard and see if these two matches. So that's one of the things that you could do. Right? So let's now what we'll do is take the same image, the newspaper image, but instead of extracting the face, I'm just going to be putting a box around the face, like how we have in our social media, like how we tag faces in social media. So if you look at it, there is a box around Trump's face, and I've also marked the mouth from the left to the right. And this is what they use for making the video memes and all that. So the position of the mouth matters a lot when they make such further processing work. Okay, what happens if there are more than one pictures, if more than one face? Okay, I have a picture, I have a group of 10 people in the picture. Can it detect each of the face? Let's look at it. So here I have a picture. I'll just blow it up. So there are 3 faces in this picture, and all the 3 faces have been figured out. If you see, these 2 faces are slightly slanted, but still the MTCNN can exactly predict where the face is. So that is the lab session for today. And if you want to run it, you can run it one after the other like I just showed you, or you can just open this lab, go to the runtime, and just click on run all, and this whole lab will run for you in just a matter of seconds. That's about this learning. Over to you, Shankar.
Thank you. Lavanya, thank you so much. I just want to pause for a couple of minutes and check. I hope that the students who were there participating and responded, thank you for responding. I hope all of you have been able to learn a bit about how to actually do hands-on sessions and see how applications of AI can be easily applied to day-to-day scenarios, right? Thank you, Lavanya. That was a very, very useful, easy to understand masterclass. So thank you. Makes it feel like, yeah, all of us can get started on the AI journey. So students, I hope all of you were able to walk away with, a better understanding of what's AI. Lavanya spoke about the day-to-day applications, how, when you open your screen on your phone, just using your Face ID, how AI is there in the background, what is machine learning, what is deep learning, so on and so forth. You would have got a sense of some of these things as she spoke about data and so on and so forth. The career prospects are just enormous in this field very clearly. Every day, day in and day out, as we engage with corporate customers, the ask for people who actually know digital, who actually know AI and how to write algorithms, who played around, toyed around, have got a few sample projects on your CV, etc., is just enormous. And that makes a huge difference to the quality of the internship that you get and to the kind of job opportunities that are out there. So I do hope this has moved you one step ahead. And I hope it's kindled an interest in many of you to learn this in depth. Especially there are a lot of building blocks such as Python, database, statistics, etc., which you can use to build your algorithms. So all of these are actually the building blocks of AI, like I said. And what I just wanted to introduce to you at this stage is, an extremely popular course and a very foundational course, that program actually, which consists of several courses, which SkillUp Online has available. Now, this has been put together jointly with one of the top universities in the US, Northwest Pacific Lutheran University. And this is something which I wanted to share a few more details on, right? I'm going to share my screen and hopefully you'll be able to understand a little more about where we are at this stage. Is my screen visible now? Yeah, all right, Lavanya, thank you. Okay, so I'm going to introduce to you the Foundations of Artificial Intelligence, the program. This has been jointly, created with Pacific Lutheran University and SkillUp Online. The program contains the basic principles of data structure, data visualization, and as you can read out there, and it's a fantastic way to kickstart your career. There are several important elements out here. One is this is an instructor-led session. You've got mentoring sessions here, which means that it is not, it's a self-paced course where you buy something and you're left to fend for yourself. This is not that kind of a course. That's very, very important. The key elements of these, some of the key elements are one, very clearly, this is awards you a certificate on completion from Pacific Lutheran University and SkillUp Online. But how do you get that certificate? You get that certificate because you participated in this program, you completed this program. Program has a discussion space where any doubts that you have, you can post. There'll be subject matter experts who work with you and answer that. You've got 30 hands-on labs. You've got 18 videos to go through. Each of them have got modular exams. These are modular exams, by the way, and you have 5 course exams. There are 6 courses in this. So because there are 6 courses, there are 5 course exams, and I'll talk to you about the 6th course shortly after this. The most important thing is after the final exam, you will also be participating in a capstone project. Now, the capstone project is really, really what makes a difference because you might learn a lot of theory, but this actually helps you bring all of that together, makes you develop an algorithm, get it verified, certified, tested by our SMEs, and only post that is the certification, right? And it's a very, very useful way of making the shift from theory to application, real world application. So imagine this, you're able to put that on your, profile and say that I just completed this and, won this or, got awarded this certificate. So to me, it's a huge credibility thing, and which is something which I would very, very be proud of. Now, we've been in conversation with your organization, with your institution, and based on the feedback that we've got, this program normally runs for this price. But what we want to bring to Vemna and to you students here is, this particular course, which is instructor-led, mentor-driven, capstone project, PLU certificate, etc., is going to be made at an introductory offer. So the investment for Vemna students is going to be at 10K, all inclusive of GST. So this is something that I wanted to share with you. This is for a limited time frame, right? We are going to keep this offer open only until this Sunday evening at 5 p.m. We intend to start the program from the 21st of March, February, my apologies, which is the Monday following next once the cohort gets filled up. And if there are multiple cohorts, we will look to see how to address that. But my recommendation is that please do consider this very, very seriously because this is going to give you a leg up. The cost of the investment is actually nothing when compared to the fillip that it will give you and your career, and more importantly, your learning as well, for you to be able to authoritatively talk about what actually is AI. If you have any questions or any queries, please post them out here. We are always available. We will post a couple of email IDs. Ankur will do that. Ankur, if you could, academia@skillup.tech is available for you to raise any queries or questions that you may have. You could also reach out to Vishal, which is Vishal B at skillup.tech. Again, I want to make sure that you understand that this is a fantastic program. This has been used by 100,000 students and beyond. But this particular program that we are bringing to Vemna is, again, I want to focus. It's got all these features and it transmoves you from theory to application with real world support that is so important that you learn something. So I'm going to stop. If you have any questions, please post it on the chat board. Just so you know, this program actually runs for about 9 to 10 weeks, with a weekly commitment of about two hours per week, a little more than that, and then obviously you've got your capstone project, etc. But this is not expected to interfere in your academic workload. This is expected to supplement that. So once again, I'm going to urge you all to give this a serious consideration and sign up. There's a huge value in this, if I may. And I really wish you all happy learning. So I hope you've learned today, as well as, as you sign up for the course. I'm sure that there's going to be tons and tons of learning as you look to enter the digital world of farming. With that, I'm going to hand it back to Lavanya for the fun quiz, and
Shankar,
we can go from there.
one thing. We have talked about five courses, and the sixth course is on this. Yeah, please.
Yes, I did. I did want to mention that. So one of the critical things, thank you, Vishal, is that, like I said, there were 6 courses. The 5 courses are part and parcel of the AI course, but an important element of career success also comes from soft skills, or what we call as human skills. So the 6th course, or the module, is on building your own personal brand. This actually, helps you understand what does it mean to have a personal brand, how can you build your personal brand, and how can you use that to, get a step up in your career. This is going to be taught by our Director of Human Skills, Ben Clark, and this is something which, in my opinion, is tremendous value, right? Because while you have all the technical jobs, you need to be able to also present yourself in a very distinct manner. It helps you stand out from the rest of the crowd, if I may. So this is the 6th module in that, again, which is included in this package, if I may. So thank you, Vishal. Yeah. Always, we are available here on the chat if you have any questions or queries. And I'm going to hand this over now to Lavanya.
Thank you, Shankar. Okay, now after all of this serious talk, let's have some fun. We're going to have a quiz. You're going to need 2 devices to do this quiz, one your phone and one your laptop. Or if you have only your laptop, then you'll have to perhaps use 2 different windows, because the question is shown on one and you'll have to answer from another window. We're going to use Kahoot for this. Please confirm if you can see it. Okay, so go to kahoot.it. If you have the app on your phone, fantastic, or if you can quickly download it, great. Otherwise, just go to kahoot.it, and this is your game pin. Please use your official names, because there are 3 winners who will get special prizes at the end of it, and the winners will get a prize only based on their name. So use your actual names, do not use nicknames. So go to kahoot.it and enter the game pin. The first question here will be a practice. We have the first player, Anaga, who pretty much shares my surname. I'm also Lavanya T.S. Iyengar. So yeah, welcome, Anaga. So let's get started. Please join in. And like I said, the first 3 players have some special prizes. The first question is a dummy question, which carries no points. The next 5 questions are the actual knowledge check. Okay.
How much time we are giving them to come on board? Like, will we wait for 30 seconds?
We'll wait for about 50 players.
Okay, okay.
So let me just pep it up with some music. We have 23 players, 27. And don't worry, I mean, these are not going to be intense, AI knowledge testing quiz. If you have been in the aware of what AI is, or if you've been listening to this webinar, you will be able to very easily answer. So what matters is how quickly you answer. It's like, in the Kaun Banega Crorepati, the fastest finger first. So it doesn't matter if you answer it right, you should also answer it really fast. I'll give it another minute. You can also join in when the quiz is happening. That's not a problem, but better that you join in now. I'll give it exactly another minute and then start. Just reiterating, the first question in the quiz does not carry any points. It is just for you to get a hang of how you answer. All right, let's get started in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 second. Let's check how much AI you know. This is the first question, dummy question, no points for this. This is just for you to get a hang of it. So on your phone screen, you'll see 4 options. Click on the right option, and that's your answer. And if any of you are joining in late, the game pin is displayed in the bottom right of the screen. It's 510. Perfect. We have 44 right answers. Someone actually said Sunday and Tuesday and Monday. Come on, guys, you really need to wake up. Okay, let's move on. Which AI solution does Spotify, Netflix, Hotstar use? This is something we saw in this webinar. That's pretty much me. The Garfield is me on weekends with Spotify, Netflix, or Hotstar. Like I said, it's not enough if you answer it right. You need to answer it really, really quick. We have only 27 right answers. I was expecting more. Let's see the leaderboard. Okay. So we have Adnan on the lead with 950 points, Rohit in the second position with 947, Nivas Reddy the third position with 938. I'm just going to call out the top 3. So let's just keep fighting for it. The next question coming up now. AI can only be used in specific industries. Is this a myth or a reality? Ah, 38. I mean, a bigger percentage said it is reality. No, it is not a reality. AI can be used in any industry. In fact, you have even AI pujas these days. So it is influenced every field. AI can be used irrespective of what industry it is. We have 30 right answers. Let's look at the leaderboard. Adnan still on lead. Rohit in the second position. Tanya has made it to the third position. Up 15 places. Unknown is the highest climber. Whoever unknown is, fantastic. Let's move on to the next one. Let's see if Adnan and Rohit still retain their first 2 places, and we'll see if Tanya maintains. Genomic sequencing is an AI solution which belong to the dash industry. Which industry does genomic sequencing belong to? I think the picture gives it away, but let's see how many of you get it right. Forty-eight right answers. Very impressive. I think this is the first question where we have majority right answers. Let's see the leaderboard now. Oh, Rohit is on fire. Adnan is still retaining his first position, and Nivas Reddy is back there in the third position. Tanya has moved to the fourth. Let's see if there's any change in the next one. Which of these is not AI based? Oh, this requires a lot of expertise to answer. Let's see how many of you are able to answer this. "57 correct answers. Fantastic. 2 of you actually said Alexa, 4 of you said iRobo, and 5 of you said Google Maps. Okay. I think you definitely need to join this course then. Let's look at the leaderboard. Tanya back in the race. She's in the third position. Tanya and Navas Reddy, you guys are having a very close neck-to-neck competition. Adnan still on lead. Rohit in second place. 3 players have reached an answer streak of 4. Fantastic. So which means you got 4 right answers. That's the last one. False is the right answer. I was expecting this to have, a complete sweep of 100%. So you do not need to be an expert in coding to be an AI specialist. You should just know what tools are available out there in the market. Like I said, you have pre-trained models and all that. As long as you know a bit of coding, that suffices. Or if you know how to reuse tools, that suffices. You do not need to be an expert in coding to be in AI. With that, let's look at the final Hall of Fame. We'll see who 3 are on the top 3. On the third position, we've got Navas Reddy. Looks like Tanya lost it. Adnan has moved to the second place, and I'm presuming the first place in that case goes to Rohit, our fantastic winners. Awesome work. Priyanka in the fourth place and Shashank in the fifth place. Please do share your email IDs on the chat window, the winners, and you'll get some special prizes. Thank you so much for participating in this. Over to you, Shankar.
Well, that was a lot of fun. Interesting to see the leaderboard go up and down. And I thought Adnan had it till the end, but it looks like he missed it by just a small, a real thin margin out there. So Rohit, congratulations and wonderful. I just wanted to say, I hope you guys learned. I hope you guys had some fun as well in this whole session. We're going to be sending you, a short. There'll be 2 communication that will come through from us as a follow-up. One of it is very clearly, a thank you email, and also giving you the link to join that course with the discount code, which I hope all of you will, use and make the most of. That will be coming your way in the next couple of hours at the most. Subsequent to that, what we will also do is we will share with you the recording for this masterclass, so that if there is anything specific that you wanted to go back and see and understand and give you a sense of, then that is something that will be shared with you and you can access it. Once again, wonderful session, Lavanya. Thank you so much, and thank you for the students who turned up today and also participated in the fun event. I hope you all taking away something. I'm going to give this back to Dr. Ramakrishna. Sir, thank you so much for this opportunity, sir. I hope your students have gained.
Thank you very much. Madam, thank you, madam.
Sir, one more thing, Vishal here.
Yes,
The participation certificate also they can download. So that would also be in the mail link.
Okay. Fine, sir. I will inform them. Anyway, sir, on behalf of Department of Computer Science and Information Science, I am very thankful to your team, the presentation work. Madam, your presentation was very good, and it's an excellent presentation. I think my students will utilize this opportunity, and I will also discuss with them personally once if they will come back to the classes. Due to some issues, I think you are knowing that today, tomorrow, and after tomorrow, they don't have an offline classes. as per government of Karnataka. And I think Monday they will back to the classes properly. So I'll discuss with them once again and say that the benefit which you are providing, they will utilize it without fail. Sir, thank you, sir. Once again, sir, Vishal, sir, thank you so much for organizing this event.
Okay.
If you have any
Thanks.
questions, please, you may post it.
Yeah,
thank
any
you.
question or any query, they can post it on the chat box.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Students, if at all you have any doubts, as that saying, if at all you have doubts, so please post your doubts to them so that they will clarify it. And if still any doubts you want to discuss with me also, it is kept open so that you can call me at any point of time and you can clarify the doubts.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, right.
Bye.
Thanks for your time. See you.
Thank you.